Um, so if everybody else would put themselves on mute, because when I go to speaker view, it just picks up, it highlights whoever is speaking at the time. So Kevin, you're up.
Well, hey everyone, good to see some of you again and a few people who I haven't met before. My name is Kevin Perlmutter. I am Chief Strategist and founder of my own company, Limbic Brand Evolution. And in that role, I'm a brand strategist and I'm a customer relationship strategist for mostly small and medium-sized businesses and nonprofits. And what I do is I help create stronger connections between what the brand or organization is all about and with the people that they want to reach. And I bring a behavioral science approach to the work that I do. I'm very focused, exclusively focused on a strategy approach that concentrates on emotional insights and what motivates people, both on the brand side and on the customer needs side of things. And what I'm doing for them is I'm creating limbic sparks, which I define as what happens when your audience is emotionally motivated by what you're all about. So I'm creating limbic sparks by turning emotional insights into a competitive advantage for my clients. And I'll stop there.
Great. Got a minute 20 left. Any questions for Kevin?
Yeah, any questions for me? I'll use the time for that.
But an example.
An example? So a quick example is I work with small clients and sometimes larger clients. One of my larger clients is the AT&T Performing Arts Center in Dallas. They're a large nonprofit. When I met with them, they had a tagline that was staging the amazing, and it caused them to be very introspective about us, how great we are. After working with them and understanding more about their passions and their organization and the people that experience their organization, we transformed their whole approach from staging the amazing to yours to discover. And yours to discover is now a way that they approach their communications to invite discovery, welcome people, encourage people to find their passion at the AT&T Performing Arts Center. Okay. That was a 45-second version.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's move on. So that would
Thanks for asking, Jason.
No, I'm finding, and I'll share it myself, that when we describe what we do, it becomes like white noise. So people tend to remember the story, the example more than the white noise. So the white noise part of me, I posted in the chat. So I have an agency. We build sites and we get, whether it's WordPress or e-commerce, we have expertise in both. Been doing this for over 20 years. I have 15 people on my team and we have marketing. So we do search engine rankings, advertising management and social media. So we do all that stuff. I wrote a book a bunch of years ago called, not a couple of years ago, called I Need More Clients, which is kind of like a walkthrough of what we do. Obviously it keeps evolving. The most recent story I can share is we also do reputation management. So we have a client in Delaware who does very high-end tax planning stuff. And he's been in lawsuits over his many-decade career, and he doesn't want anyone to know that he's been in lawsuits, even though he won all of them. So he hired us to own the first page of Google for his name. And now any hint of a lawsuit's already on page 3. So he wrote a letter to the guy in my office handling it. It's like, you guys are amazing and doing a great job. So that is not the lead side of our business, it's the reputation side of it. But bottom line is we can own that first page of Google for the benefit of producing money or just for the reputation standpoint. And that's what we do. So our main office is in Scottsdale and our developers are all overseas, and I'm in LA, and I'm based in LA. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Jason?
Jason's a great guy, knows what he's doing.
All right. Thank you, Bryce. Okay, cancel. Let's see who is up next. Next person would be Victor Lee.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. Nice to see the familiar faces and a few new faces. So what we do is we're looking for teams that are working remotely, where the folks need, the team members need, secure and fast online connections. These could be law firms, accounting firms, or other healthcare. because those are particular areas where they have particular concerns about cybersecurity. And you've probably seen, there's a few cybersecurity articles in the news lately. There's been some problems on that front. The Russians are kind of back at it because we have an app where we connect your cell phone to your laptop, and you access the internet through your phone. So it's totally secure because you have a wire. You're not on Wi-Fi. You're not exposed, and basically you're totally invisible to hackers. So I know I've had a number of discussions on this. Well, for example, with Michael, we were just on with the team with Michael earlier today, just getting him online and making sure that it all worked okay. So that was fortunately successful. Otherwise, I'd probably have to hide this afternoon. I also had some great feedback from Jason, who's also on the system, and he's given us some really good marketing advice. And I've also had some terrific conversation with Mark about our product. And so right now we're really putting on a big outreach push, at least as much as you can given the holidays. But just earlier this week, I was speaking with an IT firm because we're often going through IT vendors who want to use our service for their clients. And this one IT vendor introduced us to 7 of their clients already this week. And these are law firms, accounting firms, and other people that are dealing with really, really sensitive materials. So we think that we're getting really good acceptance in the marketplace, and we're looking to ramp it up. And we'd be happy to work with anybody and everybody on this call to do some business together. So
that the product is called Fetch. Is it
yes,
Fetch or
right.
Fetch
Sorry,
Pro?
Fetch Pro.
Fetch Pro is the product, and I was on a call today with Victor, and they were troubleshooting the problem that I was having, which I think has been resolved. But the amazing thing was we were on a Google Meet, and I was on Wi-Fi. But when I got on, I then switched over to the Fetch, which goes through my carrier, and there was no hitch. Right, shut off the Wi-Fi, it switched right over. The video went on like nothing had changed. It just was smooth as could be. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. It didn't drop. It didn't do anything. It just kept on going. And the video was just as good as it was on Wi-Fi. So
Thanks,
very
Michael.
impressive. Absolutely.
What's
Okay.
what's the price point and target market for this?
Sure. The target market is essentially, in general, it's remote teams. Anybody working from home or out of the office. Our specific targets are people who are really concerned about cybersecurity. So that's why we're looking at law firms, accounting firms, healthcare, and money managers.
Right.
And the way the product is priced is it's $18 a month on subscription per user.
Oh, okay. That was pretty good.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Bryce. And I'm happy to have a chat with you afterwards.
Yeah. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Go from there.
Perfect. Thanks.
Wonderful. Okay, so next in line is Joy Levin.
Thank you. Yep, my name is Joy Levin. I'm a market research consultant. I haven't been on one of these calls in a really long time, Michael, so I've missed it. I, like I said, I'm a market research consultant. I think about market research as a way of minimizing the risk involved in marketing because you learn more about the specifics of your target audience and their pain points and their behaviors and motivators. So it's a way of being more precise in what you're doing. So I worked with clients of all sizes. I really love working with startups, especially just because their problems are so interesting, but they often don't have the resources for a consultant. So one of the things I'm doing is developing a course for small business marketers who are pivoting, nonprofits, consultants to use some of the tools that are available on the web that are either free or really low cost to do research themselves. So that's exciting. But I also work with a lot of larger companies and nonprofits and associations. So doing both qualitative research like focus groups and interviews and quantitative research like surveys. That's it.
Very cool.
I'm sorry, I do have to end early today, but we may be done by the time I have to go.
Do you have any interest in maybe presenting to like incubators? Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have, in fact, I have this presentation about how to develop a research plan, because a lot of people get very overwhelmed by it. So it really walks you through the process and gives you some tips. And really the point is to make research actionable, because there's nothing worse than doing a project and then having it sit on a shelf somewhere.
makes sense. Okay, thank you so much. Any questions for Joy?
Who's your ideal client?
Usually a company that's at least $10 million in annual revenue. And like I said, variety of industries. And I tell people I have, when you think about interviews, I have interviewed everybody from truck drivers to physicians and everything in between. So really it's the size of the business. But like I said, I also like working with startups because their problems are so interesting. But I find that this course is a way to deliver some really valuable insights to them without having them really spend beyond what they have the resources for.
Cool. I'll
Gotcha,
see if I
thanks.
can make an introduction or two.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Bryce. And that brings us to you.
Awesome. So first, apologies for not having my camera set up today. I was, yeah, on my desktop working today, so didn't have my laptop handy. So yeah, firstly, I made VP sales pretty recently, so I was pretty happy about that. Mind of a Marketer, the marketing agency that I work for, we kind of have a really simple view of internet marketing, and the basic idea is that if your target audience or your potential clients or customers can't find you, they can't buy from you. So a lot of our solutions are kind of based around that idea of let's get you, or let's find who these people are that you want to connect with and figure out how the best way to do that is. And so we have a number of really interesting techs that were developed over COVID this year. My business partner is this dirty Asian guy who I love to death. He's an awesome guy, and his wife kind of banned him from going outside. So basically, she was like, "Yeah, you can't go outside, and you just got to stay inside and do nothing." So instead of doing nothing, obviously, he's like, "All right, well, let's build some cool stuff." And what's come out of that is some really interesting stuff for a variety of different scales of companies. So we're orienting our sales team around service-based businesses. That's what our sales team is going to go after. I handle the white labels, and because we license a lot of our technology to other people to fill in gaps in their offerings, and then we have kind of a premium level area for enterprise level clients where my business partner, that's what he focuses on, is designing these like $1 million, 10x return type of marketing campaigns for large companies. And so we're actually looking to connect with enterprise level clients that spend more than 100K on PPC campaigns in a year, because one of the things that we developed is a way to save them, usually 10 or more % on whatever they spend, if they already rank quite well. And we're happy to partner with people that send us business. So there's lots of opportunity for us to work with any and anybody. So yeah, if any of this sounds interesting, let's have a chat and see what we can do with each other.
And Bryce, the white label work, is that mostly SEM and PPC?
No, so we do a couple different things. So SEO is one of them. There is some PPC stuff that we do, but it's very limited and very targeted, very specific technology. A lot of what we focus best on is either saving money on existing strategies or doing advanced strategies that are kind of atypical. So kind of one of the conversations I usually have with clients is, if you do something that you're trying to sell to somebody, there's two ways that you can differentiate yourself. And that's, number one, you do it the same as everybody, just better than everybody else, right? And number two is you do it completely different than everybody, in which case doing it better in some way or fashion, right? And so we focused on being significantly different than other, quote unquote SEO or digital marketing companies, in that the amalgamation and the connection of some of the technologies put together that we can do offer some pretty unique results and opportunities for particular clients. So we're only going to be taking one client in every industry and every city as maximum.
Right. But that's for SEO primarily, right?
Marketing, digital marketing in general. So yeah,
Digital
that
marketing,
conversation
okay.
is more based around, do you want to dominate your industry in your city? Then we have that sort of combination conversation of exclusivity.
You'll get it. Exclusive. Yeah, whatever.
You know, what's
Exclusivity.
funny is that word's just been bothering me the last couple of days. I had a call the other day and I just could not say it right, and as you can see, I still can't.
Exclusivity. Yeah,
Exclusivity,
choking
yeah.
on it. Okay.
Thanks.
Lee Moore, who's new to the group, welcome, and introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and how you stand out.
Hi, everyone. My name is Limor Morgenstern. I'm from LMD Agency. We provide strategy, branding, and website solution to social media services. What we, our sweet spot is biotech, high tech, companies that are in future technologies. And I think, Victor, I would love to hear more about, I think I missed a couple of details, but I would love to hear more about what you do, because we worked with cyber technology and we've done a couple of projects. And what we do is basically take the clients and see where they want to be in the business side and see how we can increase their brand across the regional, national, and international space, with understanding that there is cultural and other motivations to connect with their target audience. Usually we work with teams of around 50 to 300, or we become their digital agencies. That means that if the team is overwhelmed and they need help, and they have, you know, 1 or 2 people, or maybe even 3, but they have so much to do, we become their partners and we help them. We also work as a white label agency to bigger agencies. And then what we do, they bring us as kind of the creative side. I become under their team with my team, and we provide services. Usually it's for large websites that they need someone to come and help them because they don't have in-house. So we did it with YNR, we did it with FCB, we did it with a couple more agencies in New York. And the fourth thing that we do is launching product. And this is interesting. So we've done a couple of projects that are regional, meaning either statewide, like New York, region by region. And then we did international launches, which are more complex and longer term. So it's usually high-tech products that we launch, and it's usually on a digital space, not on print, but it includes events. And well, now we have virtual events, but usually it creates events and booth and, you know, the whole shebang.
Great. Any questions for Lee Moore?
I think it's very simple. You know, we all in the kind of in the same.
Similar, yeah. People focus on different things. Thank you for bringing up the fact that you focus on high tech. I think, let's see, Mark would be next.
Hi, I'm Mark Thibault, Growth Strategy Advisors. I think I'm going to start out a little differently this time. So I'm going to start out saying that, you know, a lot of my clients are either private equity groups, or, believe it or not, I get a lot of referrals from lawyers and accountants. And the reason for that is because what I do is I help people find their way, for lack of a better term. So I work with market due diligence, I work with market strategy, I work with positioning, competitive analysis. And if all that goes well and we come up with something, occasionally I end up in customer experience, which is something I've had a lot of experience in the past, in another life. But that's really it. I mean, you know, I also do a lot of tech. Most of my clients are technology companies, especially with the private equity groups. But you know, I do run some service businesses, and I still even actually have one manufacturer. So, you know, that's what I do. Basically, I'm the person pre-branding. So I basically do a lot of work, quantitative, qualitative, and I do an awful lot of qualitative interviewing. I do a ton of interviewing. So that's what I do.
Mark and Joy, I will connect with you on LinkedIn because we are, compatible in the sense that we can join together on projects.
Great, great.
Yeah, Mark, let's connect on LinkedIn as well. Sounds like we could have a good conversation.
All right, I'll put my thing up there.
Okay. So Rochelle, then Rajiv. Rajiv, thank you for joining. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. As again, I have a bit of a tech problem going here, so hopefully this guy won't ring my bell as I'm about to say something. So what does it take to grow a business? And we all know, and it's not prayer. So I go from a different perspective. Number one, your number one skill in business is sales, or we may not be here this year. And when you speak about your business, I always ask, are you storytelling or boring telling? Creating dynamic business stories is where I've recently done so much of my best work. Not only do you need to create the story, you need to be able to speak into the story. Most people will write something out, and when you write it, you cannot say it the same way. There's something called tonality, and when you write it, there is no tonality. So we need support. I do a lot of work with presentations, all sorts of presentations. I've rewritten sales decks. I've rewritten pitches of every imaginable kind. So one strong area is everything around speaking. How do you speak about your business so that you are the clear and only choice? Number one. Another area, we've got to grow our business. You've got to look at the culture. You're only as great as your weakness, your weakest team. So I work with I do a lot of culture building programs. And the last area is I do a lot of work with the owners. The owners have a huge amount of information between their right ear and their left ear. And if you put a bullet to their heads, they cannot knowledge transfer. So because of that, they become micromanaging lunatics. So we need to take that information out and create some sort of systematic format so that you can finally pass the baton. So these are the areas that I really work with. And that's about, one of the areas I love family. I'm one of the few people, I'm not going to say technology. I love family-owned businesses, often in non-sexy industries. So I had a client for many, many years in pest control. You can't get less sexy than bed bugs. And I do a lot of work with them. Right now I'm working with an elevator company, plumbing. So these are areas, again, anything under construction, under vendors that are under construction, I've done a lot of work with in the past. So non-sexy family-owned businesses, yes.
Okay, thank you. So bed bugs, that's great. I actually did some work for an exterminating company as well. Some consulting for a national exterminating company.
Yeah,
All right. Rajiv, I think it's been a while. We're doing 2.5 minutes because we didn't have a showcase today. So take it away.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all on this glorious sunny day in New York. My name is Rajiv. I work for an award-winning online visibility and reputation management company called R Square Media, where we help clients be seen or not be seen online. And people ask, okay, Rajiv, I get the be seen part, which is being number one on Google or the only one on Google. But what is not be seen? Why would anyone not want to be seen? Can you explain that to me? I said, it's a very simple answer for that. If you have bad press connected to your name or your business, chances are you don't want people to see that because that's going to be super successful at driving all your customers away. So that's the part that we do. So we delete bad press and one-star reviews from Google with a full money-back guarantee. So it makes it completely risk-free. It's not hacking. If you're thinking that, no, it's not hacking. We have a proprietary process that in simple terms allows for us to get the link or the whatever deleted from Google. usually in, I want to say 60 to 90 days. And yeah, it's not hacking, and it's actually fully compliant with Google. The only exception to this is Yelp. So we can't delete Yelp. We can push it down, but we can't delete Yelp. But outside of Yelp, we can delete just about anything. And if you want to learn more, please visit my website, my newly redesigned website that I'm quite proud of. Check it out, rsquaremedia.com. I'll put in the link in the chat so you can check it out. Let me know what you think. And as far as the ask goes, I'm looking to meet with other marketers to explore synergies, as well as people in PR, publicists, campaign managers, people that work in crisis communication, people like that. And yeah, I'd love to connect with you all on LinkedIn, those that don't know me. Yeah, and stay safe in this weather that we're all immersed in at the moment. So back to you, Michael.
Thank you. By the way, can you hear my clicking? Is that bothersome?
it.
I am typing.
Can't
as we
hear it
go.
at all.
You don't hear it? Okay.
I can hear it.
Okay, so
I did have a question for
you can
Rajiv.
hear it?
What's the cost for getting rid of something like that?
Well, it kind of depends, So if you want to delete something from Joe Schmo's blog, it'll be like 2,000 per link. But if you want something deleted from sec.gov or fbi.gov, then that would be significantly more expensive, like maybe 10 or 12,000.
Mhm.
per
Do you
link.
mean deleted, or do you mean moved down out of the first page?
No, deleted. So
So Jason was talking about how he does reputation management
Yeah.
as well. I don't know if you
Reputation
guys
management
would.
is
I
different
mean, you
from
clearly
deleting.
you clearly compete, but maybe there's opportunities to
Well, you're
collaborate.
talking about deleting as opposed to moving.
I'm so sorry.
no,
I
so
know I
deleting
came
it.
in late and I apologize. Maybe somebody else asked this question, so I'm sorry. But how is it legal to remove it from FBI.gov or?
No. So we don't remove it from fbi.gov. We just remove the link so it doesn't appear in the Google search result.
Okay, so you're not going into the government to get it out. I mean, ouch. That would be.
It's got some friends in Russia who have an inside
Yeah,
access.
right. Just
Guys, I'll be right back.
Okay, so the last Audrey just joined. Audrey, we're doing 2.5 minutes, so you are up.
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Client had an issue. Anyway, so Audrey Clever-Dictor. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, thinking of all you guys in snowy New York. Hope everybody's well. I do federal law. I do advertising, marketing, promotions law, intellectual property law, and privacy law. So I help small, medium businesses and agencies to keep their marketing campaigns be legally compliant with all 3 fields of law to make sure you're not opening your businesses up for lawsuits for false misleading advertising or infringement or privacy law violations. Also, since I am reviewing for compliance, I also review for ADA compliance of websites. And if you have a website, basically you are advertising national and internationally, so all 3 fields of law do apply to you. And remember, when you have your website, it's not the what or the where, but it's the who's on the other side that determines the applicable privacy laws. So you might as well be compliant with all. There's a lot of them, as you all very well know. And ADA is federal, and there's been a lot of lawsuits for that. So I'm trying to educate as many people as possible that please, please, please be compliant with your websites, because nowadays that's honestly where most of the trouble starts and comes from. Any questions?
Yes, I wanted to know if in New York now you have to manage your cookies, or it's only in California now?
Well, New York has the SHIELD Act, which has its own, it's its own little animal. It's different than the CCPA but yes, everybody must have cookie management on their website. And please, please, please do not copy and paste from other websites any information like the cookie website language or the terms and conditions or your privacy policy or your disclaimers, because everybody's business is different, right? You're not like everybody else. Your business is not like everybody else. So you should not be copying and pasting any of this over to your websites, because then you're not protecting yourself and you're binding yourself legally, because they're all legally binding contracts, to somebody else's terms and conditions that may or may not even apply to you. So please don't copy and paste. Spend the money, do it right.
Just so you know, cookies are being gotten rid of by Google in the next 6 months, I think. I think it's sometime.
Third-party cookies, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I haven't missed anybody, have I? I know John Patch was on for a little bit, but I think he left. Okay, so I will go. As you know, my name is Michael Bendit, and I have a company called Software Development Resources. I do sales representation for about 10 different teams. They're boutique software development teams, very focused on the technology side. So we partner very well with other agencies, marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies, who don't always have the internal resources for a particular opportunity. So just a couple days ago, I got a request from one of the agencies that I work with. I do a lot of WordPress work with them, but the request was, Michael, do you have anybody who does Alexa skills? And for those of you who are familiar with the voice systems, Google has their own Google Assistant. Of course, there's Siri and Alexa, which is probably the most popular one. And it's a unique set of skills, and they call them skills in this case, to program that, because it's interactive language. So it has to understand and then respond accordingly. And I do have a team. I do a lot of mobile work with this team, but they happen to have done a fair amount of Alexa work. What's unique about this team is that even though they are dual shore, the other shore is England. So they work in English, and that's important for any type of voice programming, because they have to understand the lexicon and how people speak. And the other half is here in the US. So they do some of the design here in the US as well. And oftentimes they need to have multiple terms for the different countries, being an American English or British English or whatever it happens to be. So most of the work that I do is not as esoteric as that. It's websites and mobile applications and e-commerce sites using the most common platforms like WordPress and Shopify and Magento. So that's the bread and butter. My job is to match people up, right? Find the right team, or work, match them up with the team that is best suited for them. And it's not so much finding the right team. I have 10 teams that I work with a lot. And I vetted them and I've worked with them, and I know that they're good teams. So that's always a big risk for people. They don't know who they're going to be handing over their code to or having their code developed. And they need to be able to trust them. And so that's where I focus. All right, let's go back to gallery view. Did I miss anyone?
No, Michael, I have a question for you. Do you have a team? I think I asked you this before. Do you have a team that speaks Urdu and English?
Urdu and English?
Yeah.
Urdu is Pakistani. That's a good question. I don't know why.
I have a client that has, they have this software, whatever, and they get a lot of snags because their team doesn't come, they've had problems with their team. And they have problems finding people in their team because apparently they speak Urdu and English. They have to communicate to the guy that I work with who speaks English. So there's a dilemma there. So if you were to have that, I would go back to speak to this person and see, have them contact.
Oh, you mean their development team speaks Urdu?
Correct.
Oh, and they're in Pakistan.
I would imagine. I can't imagine them being in Brooklyn, but
yeah. So that's a problem with working directly with offshore teams. Which is why most of the work that I do is with dual shore teams, so that they have some people here in the U.S. And it's still important that the key people overseas speak English, and communicate well in English, which isn't always the case.
Yeah.
And as I tell people, and as you realize, listen, developing software, whether it's for a website or mobile or whatever it happens to be. There's enough translation going on between the business need and the technology. To add on top of that, different language, different culture, time zone differences. You're just, adding layers upon layers of risk.
Give me 1 sec.